Hi. Hi, everybody. I hope you guys all had a really good Easter weekend. Happy Monday. Um, just want to make sure Sarah's going to join. Okay. I'm going to try to get better about paying attention to people's comments during my live videos. It's taking me some extra work to do that, but so I hope everybody's having a good week. Your week is off to a great start, all of that stuff. So yesterday was Easter, and something I was thinking about since yesterday, when I decided that I was going to do this live today, is about you become what you guard and how true this is. And yesterday it just happened to be that I ended up seeing a bunch of different groups of my friends, so a bunch of different types of people, and it's interesting how similar situations people are dealing with, regardless of what their background is or what kind of work that they do or whatever it might be that segregates people into different, groups. And so this is what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Hi. Okay, your first time here? Welcome, Chrissy. Normally my assistant helps me with the comments, but I wanted to try to get better about doing it in my live videos. So if you guys have comments, I'm going to try to remember to read them periodically throughout the live. Welcome, Janet. Okay, so you guys, I was thinking about this because yesterday, was Easter, and as I said, I spent the day with a bunch of different types of people, which I love. I have a lot of different groups of friends, and I'm super happy about that. Right? They all add some kind of value to my life. So I was getting home to quick change and go somewhere else yesterday, and I had another Easter message on, and the pastor was reading from Matthew 28, and in this message he's talking about how there's an angel that comes and sits on the tombstone of where Jesus was laid, and they had actually put guards outside of this tomb because they were afraid that his body would get stolen, so they put guards there. And when the angel came, these guards became like dead men. That's what the word says. And that the angel just continued to speak with the ladies who had showed up at the tomb. And this is really what sparked this whole thought, was you're going to become whatever you guard. It's not necessarily whatever you put inside of the thing that you're guarding, right? Okay, so it's not necessarily the thing that you put inside of the thing that you're guarding. It's whatever you're guarding. When we talk about things like anger being a secondary emotion, for example, right? This is because there's a deeper emotion that you're not ready to address. So like if anger is the outside part, whatever you're putting inside of there, whether that's, deep sadness like grief or abandonment or rejection or whatever is deeper in there, that's not the thing you're guarding. What you're going to guard is anger. And this is going to give you the right in your mind to react out of anger whenever some kind of thing comes near the thing you're guarding. And in this story I was just mentioning, the tomb was actually empty, right? And so it wasn't the thing that they were guarding that was inside of the thing. It was the thing that they were guarding that they became like. The tomb is a place where dead people go. But there wasn't a dead person in the tomb that they were guarding, but they became like the thing they were guarding. And hi, Mark. Happy Easter. Good evening. You must be on the other side of the world, so good evening. It's morning time where I am. Thanks for joining. So anyhow, really take a look at the thing that you're guarding. A lot of people pick up habits that are indicative of something deeper that they're not willing to look at. They don't want to look at that thing, so they put this like pacing around, whatever issue it is that they're having. So if you struggle with some kind of toxic addiction, think about how that thing is actually the protective barrier around what it is that you're actually not wanting to look at. So a lot of times drugs and alcohol are used as a way to escape something. People are using it because they don't want to face the reality. They want to escape their reality for one reason or another. So whatever is inside is the thing that you don't want to look at. And I'm just wanting to encourage you guys to not do this, because that is always going to seep into who you are. There's no such thing as being able to compartmentalize toxic things for very long. It might work for a little while, but eventually that's going to seep into everything. And by the way, the opposite is also true, right? Like, so if you have good behaviors, good habits, like if you're always on time, that's going to seep into every single part of your life, whether that's for your work or for meeting your friends. It's not going to, there's not going to be that division. Same thing with toxic things. And specifically for those of you watching my channel who are dealing with narcissistic abuse, recovery, rebuilding your life after narcissism, that kind of thing, pay attention to this, because there's so many people who are who are not willing to accept the truth because it's hitting too close to something that they don't want to look at, or they're just more comfortable pretending that they're doing a good job by guarding this thing that they think needs to be guarded, regardless of how that's affecting them or not. So when I said this last week during my live that I did on Monday, but if you're looking to remain wherever it is that you are and you just want to make yourself very comfortable in that place, whether that's a good place or not, it really honestly doesn't even matter. Life is about evolution. And if you don't get a hold of that, and if you aren't willing to get uncomfortable to start growing and moving outside of where you are, you're cutting yourself short. You're cutting everybody that you're connected to short, your family short, your children. You're doing a disservice to everybody that you're connected to by not becoming the best version of yourself. So this channel, I'm not going to just say like, oh, that's terrible that stuff happened to you, whatever it is. Although that is true, it is terrible that stuff happened to you. It's still your responsibility to come out from underneath that abuse, those mindsets, the toxic environment that you're coming out of, and making something better. Because you're going to become what you guard. So I've talked about this before. A lot of people who have gone through narcissistic abuse pick up narcissistic traits. That's because they've been in the same environment as a narcissist, and they've also been learning. They've also been becoming whatever their atmosphere is, their environment is. And if you think about it, if you're willing to really analyze your own self and look at your behaviors, you're going to see that, number one, that's true. And number two, that you get to change. You get to change that. So paying attention to your atmosphere and what you're guarding, and by saying, you know what, I am doing that, that gives you the power to make a different choice. Until you actually look at what you're doing, you're going to keep making the same decisions and the same choices, the same patterns of behavior, and you're going to keep attracting the same types of people into your life. I can't tell you how many clients of mine have waited until they've gone through 2 or more toxic relationships with narcissists before recognizing that they are attracting the narcissist. Yeah, there's narcissists everywhere. You're going to run into them. There's no doubt about that. But you get to choose how close they are in your life, how many layers of these concentric circles that make up our relationships, how far deep in there they get. And way too many people are not willing to address the fact that they don't have boundaries. For example, this is a really common one. Lots of people will say, oh yeah, I have boundaries. I told a narcissist, I didn't like it whenever they did A, B, or C, right? And it's like, okay, and then what? Oh, and then he still kept doing it, or she just ignored me, or she laughed at that, or whatever happened. That's not a boundary. That's a suggestion. A boundary comes with a consequence. If you say, I want A to change, and A does not change, there must be a consequence for having that boundary broken. Again, this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about where you cut yourself short. It's like, well, I did half of it and it didn't work, so I guess it's not my fault, it's the narcissist. And it's easier for me to just blame the narcissist and say like they're behaving inappropriately, which again is very true. But then why are you continuing to guard that behavior? You're saying it's okay for the narcissist to continue to do A, B, or C, and you're still going to all you're going to do is just complain about it to them. I want it to change. It doesn't change. It's their fault. We're not recognizing the fact that you have complete control over this situation. If you don't like it, what is going to be the consequence? That's the way that things change. And the atmosphere, again, is so important because you will become what you're guarding. Whatever you're sitting in, you're going to become that. It's really, really crucial that people get a hold of this. And I feel especially right now, if you didn't do it in 2020, like pay attention in 2021. 2020 gave us so much downtime to be able to kind of weed through the things in our life that needed to change, the things that in our life that needed to go, that we have been tolerating for way too long. And way too many people just got comfortable at being in lockdown mode and not doing anything productive. So even though there was a lockdown going on, it didn't actually do what it was intended to do. That lockdown you could have been productive if we were all like paying attention and making the most of whatever. See, again, lots of people were like, oh, well, life is doing it. I can't do anything about it. While that's true, you can't do anything about the fact that there was a pandemic nationwide. What you could control was what you did with your time during that world event, right? And too many people just got comfortable and adjusted to, okay, this is just going to be the new normal, right? This is like a term people are using. This is going to be the new normal. The new normal should be much more productive, much more healthy, and pushing you to evolve into the person you were created to be. The new normal is not devolution, okay, which we're seeing, by the way, on a global scale, because again, everything is made up of people. So it doesn't matter if you're talking about a family. Well, guess what? That's made of individuals. It doesn't matter if you're talking about a country. That's made of individuals. A government made of individuals. Everything is made up of individuals. And so if you have a bunch of individuals all deciding to do the same thing, that's going to be the sum of the thing that you get. So again, why is it so important that you do it? And again, this is something that has to be a habit, not something that you do for like a month or two and be like, oh, well, I tried it and it didn't work for me. When you start doing these types of things and you start paying attention to your atmosphere and you start getting very picky about what you guard, you're going to start attracting people who have that same mindset, who are willing to partner with you on whatever issue it is. This is exactly how countries get formed. This is how families get formed. Everything is a fractal of another thing. This is always able to be applied on a greater level and on a lower level. So if your way of thinking is I'm only one person and it doesn't really matter what I do because, blah, 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 list me all of your reasons. Take that same concept and look at the narcissist. Like, they're also one person. Yeah, but they have the flying monkeys. They have this and this and this. Yeah, exactly. They're a product of their environment. They've created the exact environment that they want. And you're part of that environment. And until you recognize like you're contributing to the thing that you don't like and start making a change about how you're not going to continue to partner with that relationship, you're going to perpetuate the cycle that you're talking about hating. So I hope this is all making sense to you. I know that this is a kind of a broad subject and it can be difficult to apply it to yourself and to really say like, no, there's things that I need to take responsibility for. Let me give you a really good example actually in my own life from last week or the last week. I think it was 2 weeks ago now. I was having a conversation with a friend, not really, okay, regardless, okay, this person started attacking me, and it had I was really not patient with this person, and it got to the point where I really just shut this person down. And thinking about it, I was like, okay, but that person should not have been following me around literally and egging me on to get into this position. That person should not have been doing that. That was not respectful. But it doesn't matter. You know what? Because I was also wrong in that situation. So I took it's not like this person is wrong here and I'm only wrong down here. So they're more wrong than me, so I'm not taking responsibility for it. Does this make sense? No, I'm still wrong. Regardless of how much more wrong the other person is, I'm also wrong, and I need to take responsibility for that. And so I did. So I apologized to this person and to the other people who were there at this instance. So, it's because I want to be picky about that. I don't want those little things that it's like, oh, it was just one time, who cares? He'll get over it, whatever. They'll move on from it. I don't want those little things to create my atmosphere, and it is those little things that will create your atmosphere. When you are not going to be responsible with the little things, don't expect some great big thing to just magically come about. Success in any kind of thing, whether it's a interpersonal relationship, whether it's your work or career, your family, whatever it is that you're looking at, it is made up of those small things that you choose to be faithful with every single day, and not letting those tiny little instances creep up, because that's going to be included in your atmosphere. Way too many people are just accepting these little things here and there. And this is how, by the way, a relationship with a narcissist always gets started. And it doesn't matter if it's a romantic relationship or somebody that you work for or work with or whatever. It's these little instances of being disrespected, of being undermined, of being gaslit that add up. And before you know it, you're in a cycle that you can't control because you didn't guard your atmosphere appropriately in the beginning when they were small things. Now it's turned into a real big thing, and it's much more difficult to leave that atmosphere and to create a healthy one. It's absolutely possible. It's just harder to do. And hopefully, if you've learned that lesson one time you get sick of dealing with a narcissist, you're not going to tolerate it again. But until you recognize that you are the controller of your atmosphere, that you become whatever it is that you're going to guard, positive and negative, it doesn't matter. This is a spiritual principle, by the way. It doesn't matter what you believe, okay? It's like gravity in the natural. Doesn't matter. You can believe in it, not believe in it. Does not matter. It's still going to do its thing. This is like what, the principle of sowing and reaping. Some people call it karma. It doesn't matter what you believe. It's going to come back around. It's a spiritual principle. It's higher than any natural principle that you have. So if you're not willing to take responsibility over your atmosphere and pay attention to what you guard, then don't be surprised when you're in a cycle and a very toxic environment that you cannot escape from, or that feels so overwhelming that you cannot escape from. It's actually not true, because that's also something you're guarding, is the mindset that I can't escape from this. That's also something that you're guarding and partnering with when it's not true. But it will require you to do something different, both in changing the way that you think and in the way that you behave, the way that you relate to other people, the way that you receive counsel and advice from other people. All of this will affect the way that you get out of that atmosphere, number one, how quickly you do it, number two, and number three, how quickly you build a new atmosphere. And if you build that atmosphere cleanly or not, or if you have these little holes that are still available for toxic people of any kind to come in. So, all right, you guys, that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about, and I have to get going. I have a client at noon, but thanks so much for joining. I think I looked at all of the comments on the live. Oh, yeah, one other really quick announcement. I'm doing, on my channel a few weeks ago, I did a prayer and worship day, and after I did that, with my friend Kristen. My church invited us to do a prayer and worship with them live once a month. So we're going to do that at my church. It's on my church's YouTube channel. It'll be streaming live on Wednesday. Sarah says she put already that link to, if you want to subscribe to my church's channel, you can get notified when we go live. And Sarah put that in the description of this video already. So it's there. You can click on it. You can subscribe, turn on that little bell so that you're notified when they go live. And on Wednesday. And you can send in your prayer request too. It's just exactly like the one that I ran on my channel a few weeks ago. You can comment in the comment section, or there's a link in the description where you can email any prayer requests that you have. Hi, Irene. All right, that's it, you guys, for the announcements for this week and for this video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and week.